All right, cool. We're back. Size 10 podcast. I'm Nick Scalzone. Bjorn is out. You can find me on Instagram at Nick Scalzone Comedy. And we have a guest on the pod today, Sammy Anzer. In from Colorado. Sammy, where can they find you?
Yo, Bad Boy Anzer on Instagram. That's my last name, Anzer.
All right.
And you're on Twitter too, but you don't really fuck with Twitter that much.
I don't fuck with Twitter that much.
That seems to be the new wave for a lot of comedians. They're like, no, I'm not with that shit. Like,
it's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm not a Twitter guy.
You're
either.
the same deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. It's like, I don't like Twitter. Every time I go on there, it's all negativity, and I'm like, I like Instagram. I'm dumb too. I like to scroll through pictures and be like, oh, giggle at a meme.
Also, I don't want to learn anything. I feel like Twitter has a lot of news.
Yeah, it's never good news on Twitter either. It's like a bad news story and a bunch of people yelling at each other about it
and having hot takes on it, which is sometimes fun.
The hot take express is like can be a little much. I think the thing with the news that kind of sucks is like you can be like scrolling just like liking everything you see, and then just out of nowhere it's like, bam, you're fucking miserable now. Like, you're welcome. And you're just like, damn.
I feel like I would rather see Twitter if someone screenshots it and puts it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Which is like what
the highlight reel of Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the highlight
like
reel.
if something from Twitter makes its way to Instagram, I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
That's how I am with. So do you fuck with TikTok or no?
Yeah, this is another one that I feel like pushed into. I have a TikTok and I have 2 videos on it, but no, I don't use it.
Yeah, I feel like that's the other wave with a lot of comedians. Everyone's like, yo, I'm off Twitter, but I begrudgingly had to get on TikTok, and they're like all trying to figure it out. But I'm the same way. Like, I want to see TikTok. I want to see the best of on my timeline. I don't want to be on that platform. Like, I'm not trying to like.
That's what Instagram Reels is for.
Right.
The
exactly.
best TikToks just go on Instagram Reels.
Oh my
I don't
goodness.
have a TikTok at all.
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
Bjorn's been pressuring us. He's like, Paul's been pressuring us.
Yeah,
He's
Paul's been
he's like,
pressuring
bro,
Bjorn.
we got to get TikTok. And I'm like, and then he's like, yo, the new one.
Yes, the
Bjorn's gonna
metaverse
listen
or
to this.
some
He's
shit.
like, oh, I see how it is. I go out of town. Y'all talk shit on the show. But they're like,
We're thinking out loud.
We got to get in the metaverse, baby. And I'm like,
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
Maybe, maybe this will be our first metaverse clip, was us just shitting on it.
Oh my god.
That'll be ironic. The Twitter crowd will love it.
And then we can buy some ones. And speaking of, I don't know, verses, not like the show. You're out here in like the Portland verse. How's Portland been treating you? When'd you get here?
I got here on Wednesday.
And it's Saturday now.
Saturday.
Yeah, days go by quick.
Right.
How you like it so far?
I like it a lot. I feel like it's like cloudy Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Have you guys been to Colorado?
I've never been to Denver. Like, half of my friends in college were from Denver because so many Colorado kids go to school in Montana.
Yeah.
But, like, never been to Colorado.
I've seen a fair amount of American cities, right? But not a ton. And when I was like thinking about Portland, like trying to figure out, I'm like, all right, it's definitely not New York City.
Mm-hmm.
It's also definitely not like Detroit or Memphis, Tennessee.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, within 4 days, it's not like I feel like it more than anything, it's kind of like Colorado-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the parallel. I mean, I've had folks in the past that are like, well, parts of Portland could be real bouldery. Like, I think Denver, I've definitely spent time in Denver. Denver's cool. Elevation and the weather and all that shit. Like, it's cold as hell. Here in Portland, we have like today, like 40 degrees and raining, which isn't much better, but I don't know. I've liked Portland a lot. Nick, you've been here for how long?
4 years.
4 years, yeah. I've been fucking around in Portland since like 2005, part-time, and then full-time like I think a decade, something like that.
Okay.
And I don't know, there's cool shit going on. Like, Portland feels like what they're trying to do with like Rhino in Denver. Like, for better and for worse. Like, there's cool shit, but then you're also like, damn, I used to be able to live in this neighborhood, and now I had to get the fuck out. Like, what's the best thing? And also, had you been to Portland before?
No, this is my first time in the Northwest, like, period.
Oh shit.
Okay.
So I've never been to this part of the country.
Okay.
We got to get you to come back. Do a little Seattle, Portland, Eugene loop, do all that shit.
Oh, that'd be fun.
No,
Easy.
Seattle's definitely a different vibe. I'd be curious to hear like your parallel you draw with Seattle and another city. Because I've always felt like Portland is a city, but doesn't always feel like a city. It feels like a big town.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Seattle feels like a city.
Like a proper city, yeah.
Yeah. When you're there, like the buildings are taller. It just feels like a city.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause
I think Denver's on that way of like in between that.
Okay.
That's what it's like starting to feel like.
Yeah, that was part of why I moved to Portland is because I'm from Montana. There is no city. The biggest city is 100,000 people, and I was not from that city. I was from a small town, so I was like, okay, I want to live in a city, but like when I'd go to Seattle, I'd be like, oh, or DC. I had family back there, so when I go to a real city like that, I was a little bit overwhelmed. You know, so I was like, okay, Portland, I can. It's kind of like, you know, it's got all the city stuff, but it's not quite a big city feel.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
When I first moved out of New York, I moved to Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, this is a city. And I remember I went to the grocery store. Then I drove across town, and I went to like all the way across town. And I went to pick up like some shoes or something like that, and I saw the same guy that I just saw in the grocery store. I'm like, this is not a city. If I'm running into a guy,
same random dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and I come from the opposite of that, where my town was 4,000 people, and I waved to every car because I probably knew that guy. So
my high school was 4,000 people.
That's the wildest shit for me is like, when I tell people like, oh yeah, I grew up and like I had like 2,800 kids in school, and they're like, wow, that's bigger than my college. I think like the thing that I've noticed is the bigger the city gets, I feel like the smaller your life gets in it. And bear with me here. So like when you have a place like Memphis, you're probably going all over the city for everything. Whereas in Portland, like now there's kind of like the quadrants, and I kind of like live in Northeast. I like this, you know, we're in Northeast now. I work here. I don't really go over to the West Side that much. But then like when I was in New York, I had like the block between the train and my apartment. I had the office to the to the train, and then like the spots downtown that I would go to and hang out at. But everyone, like, I got a friend that's moving to New York right now, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna get so overwhelmed. I'm like, yeah, for the first week. And then like you're gonna go to the same deli every day. You're gonna ride the same train every day. You're gonna see the same people at work every day. It's not that much different. It's just that there's so much more out there that you're never probably going to fuck with, really. Like, everyone's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to get to the city. I'm going to go to do this, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to see Grant's tomb. And, like, no, you're not.
Like, I think that's a good perspective to take on it, because it's, like, about, like, how you build community. Like, I feel like I've moved enough times, and you probably know this, too, where it's, like, I enjoy that. Like, I do a mini version of that, like, when I do, like, tourism like this. But it's, like, I move to a new place, like Denver, and I'm like, all right, where's my favorite grocery store?
Yep.
I go to all of them. I go to, like, 3, 4. I'm like, all right, this is mine. I only go here now. And then I'm like, all right, where do I like to, you know, whatever it is, get a slice of pizza? And I'm like, this is the best pizza place. That's it. I only go here.
No other pizza places exist. Like, this is it. Yeah. And it's funny you say that, because that's such, like, a... And I hate to be this is like some hack shit, but like that is such a New York thing, right? You talk to New Yorkers and they're like, nope, there's only one place, bro. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. If you go somewhere else, like,
you're fucking stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you do that? I don't understand. Like, so, yeah.
You have to have a perverse sense of pride of like, you're like the inside guy. That's what it is. In New York, you're like, listen, you want to get your windows done and tinted? I got the guy.
I got a guy.
I got the guy. I got the best window tinter in Queens.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Queens. Did you live in other parts of the city, or?
No. Okay. So I lived in different parts of Queens. I lived on both the east side of Queens and the west side of Queens.
Okay.
So the whole borough is like home.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I've never been to New York City. I know Nas is from Queens.
Yo, so I used to live...
I've got a vague amount of hip-hop knowledge that
throw it on.
Mobb Deep, they're from...
Yo, Mobb Deep. I went to the same high school as junior high school as Prodigy.
Oh, R.I.P. Yeah. I saw them like a year before he passed away at a dive bar in Bozeman, Montana.
That's the weirdest shit.
It was wild. But it was fun.
It was for sure them?
It was 100% them.
Wait, was he doing a show?
No,
was he
Mobb
performing?
Deep headlined a show at the Molly Brown Bar in Bozeman, Montana in like 2016.
Was it packed?
Yeah.
Were people there like for Mobb Deep?
Yeah, there were. It
That-
was the
what was-
Bozeman hip hop scene was there.
Huh.
A bunch of white guys
All
rapped
12 of
about
them.
weed. Yeah, and then they went up and
Actually, well,
did shook ones, and everybody was fucking through
would
the
be
roof.
the infamous. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the anthem of Queens.
Shook ones,
Yeah.
part 2. That is one of the best songs.
I feel like
Ever.
Bozeman's like a college town too, right?
It is,
Bunch
yeah.
of schools. Yeah.
Yeah,
that
no, it
kinda
was like
explains
me
it.
and my college buddies were like, fucking Mobb Deep is here? Why?
I feel like
I
those
don't
shows
care
are the
why.
ones where
Let's
people
go.
like do that. They see the sign and like, oh shit, Mobb Deep, and you're like, yo, have you ever listened to Mobb Deep? Or you just know that they were on G Unit for like 2 months, and it's like, well, I'm gonna go, bro. It's gonna be sick. You got a lot of
No.
dudes,
Me
like,
and my
doing rap
friends
bands.
went there, knew all the words to shook ones. Like, we were fucking stoked.
That's
We
funny.
were
yeah.
so excited to see them in a dive bar. They moved the pool tables so we could all stand around.
How many
That's-
people are we talking? Like, what's the capacity of this show?
Oh, I bet there were like 100 people there.
100.
Yeah, you know that's got to be very humbling for Mobb Deep.
I thought about that. I was like, dude, these are like, they have one of the best rap albums of all time. Like, everybody who's a hip hop head agrees
Mm-hmm.
that The Infamous is like one of the best albums ever, and they're playing the Molly Brown, which generally is where you go for bar trivia.
What'd you pay to
that's-
get in? How much were tickets?
Like $30.
Okay,
So
that makes
that's-
a little more sense.
But that's crazy still.
I
Yeah.
feel like if the money's right though, like if you were on tour, right, you're just driving around in some like Sprinter van, and they're like, "Yo, you want to go to this shithole bar? I'll give you $1,500 cash." Like I don't know. Maybe I'm making some assumptions about like how much they might want money, but like, what do you need to do? Say no? How many songs they do?
Yeah,
Like
I was
seven?
about to
Oh, they did about an hour set.
Oh,
like
that's
they
good.
gave
Show.
us
Okay,
they gave
okay,
us a
okay.
great show. They closed with shook ones, obviously,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, no, they gave a great show. I was stoked because they were cool. They didn't come up there and be like, we had to fucking come to Bozeman.
Yeah,
You
that's
guys
cool.
suck.
Those
They
are-
were like good performers, and they
That's-
were just like, these people showed up. Let's give them a show.
That's what you want.
Yeah,
But also it has to be humbling.
I agree.
Right? Like
I
you,
had that
you go in
thought.
this thing where you're probably they've probably done arenas at their
Oh yeah.
in their lifetime,
Like
right?
in
So
their
that there's-
heyday, when
right?
Mobb Deep was like, when
The
that first
top.
came out, they probably were on those crazy
So you
arena
do the
tours.
shitty bar shows, right? Then you make your way, you explode, you do
Yeah.
arenas, and then you kind of go back to doing
Yeah.
shitty bar shows.
Yeah.
It's a job at the end of the day. Like
Mm-hmm.
they've been doing this, and also it's like, okay, do the same song. Like this song you've been doing forever.
Yeah.
Like it's not like they're really blowing the barn doors off of new mixtapes or something.
They definitely did some of their new stuff.
yeah.
And everybody was like, "This is a good beat. Wrap it up.
like-
This is nice."
They're like, we came for the Alchemist
Yeah.
production. Can y'all start rapping over the beats? That would be
Yeah,
ultimate
no, it was-
disrespect.
It was definitely just like, okay, this is cool. This is nice.
That would be so fire if you said that to Mobb Deep.
If I was just
from
like-
Bozeman,
Some scrawny
Yeah,
white boy
yeah.
like me, I'm just like, hey,
wrap it up.
Yeah.
hey,
Let's go,
Mobb
boys.
Deep.
Get
I'm trying to roll that pool table back in here, so
Yeah.
we want to shoot a little stick.
We want to hear shook ones, and then that's
then
Good
you
to what
could
we
be
came
on your
for.
way.
We definitely very much appreciated that they came out there because it was one of that's the thing with small towns is like you don't get shows.
Especially in like those parts of the West where it's like the closest big city is not close at all.
Or
like,
a
it's
big city.
it's
the
a
closest
destination.
big cities were Boise and Spokane.
Yeah.
Oh, I even said that wrong. I think I said Bozeman, right? Boise.
No, two different
Boise,
cities.
Idaho. Bozeman, Montana is.
Oh, okay. So I
is
did
where
get
I
it.
was.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about these shoes a little bit. So we kind
Yeah.
of put you on the spot. So you came through to guest spot the other night, and we were like,
Yes.
"Yo, come be in the studio," and you were like, "Well, I'm traveling. Like, I don't have like all my stuff." So, yeah, let's talk about these, and then I want to talk a little bit more about just shoes in general. But
Yeah.
tell us a little bit. I got these pulled up here. Tell us about these shoes a little bit that you got on your feet.
Yo, that's them. Yo, they're sold
these the
out.
right ones?
Wow, yeah. So I got these. These are exactly the right ones. These have become like my walking around, like I don't care what happens to them, fresh sneakers.
Daily drivers. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
these are my daily drivers, right? I got them initially for that purpose in mind. Like I wanted like a color palette that was like kind of like different, but like could go with a lot of things.
Yeah.
and I feel like that hits it. Also, my boy worked at Finish Line, and he was like, I don't know when I'm leaving. And he was about to get out the door, and I was like, I want some sneakers that are... And also, I could pull these on and off at the airport, and they're kind of, like, nice enough where, like, someone who, like, pays a little bit of attention is like, yo, those are all right.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool.
No, I love the Ultra Boost. I have a few pairs, and I like them for that reason, because they're, like... They're a cool shoe that kind of show that you know sneakers, but they're also like the most comfortable shoe to like walk around in.
Yeah, and the all-terrain thing on the bottom of them is that like they don't like slip like a regular running shoe does, and I like that the silhouette is like a little bit more boxy.
Yeah. No, I definitely really like the Ultra Boost, and I like this colorway. This is a cool colorway.
Yeah, we've talked about Boost a ton on the show. Like, it's, you know, huge. It's one of Adidas's kind of flagship things. But I think with these, I like these a lot because it doesn't have the old... You remember when Boost, like, kind of bubbled out? Like, it looked like a marshmallow. These are, like, a little sleeker. Like, it forms well, and it doesn't give me... I've described Boost before as just being, like, looking like a styrofoam cooler.
Yeah.
And, like, but this is like, oh, cool. You actually, like, trimmed it down. Like, you sculpted the Boost so it's not just, like, mad popcorny. It's not, like... Yeah, it doesn't look bad. It works with the rest of the shoe. I like the mid kind of, like, side where the stripes are at. Like, the way that they tied all this stuff in. It's really cool. And, yeah, it's just, like, great kind of around town shoe. The nice thing too is this is a shoe that you know you're probably like when you beat these up, you can go get another pair whenever you want, wherever you want. Like you're not like, oh shit, I gotta get an app, I gotta start entering raffles, I gotta see if I can get another set of these. Like,
and I throw these in the wash. I know that for some people that's like a cardinal sin or whatever. And then I just tried it one time, and that's why I started fucking with Adidas a lot because I walk different in high school from not trying to crease my sneakers, right? And making sure that anything happens. And I could like, you know, I'm not being disrespectful to the sneakers, but like I'll do whatever I need to do, and then I throw them in the wash, and they come out like new.
Do you do the pillowcase thing?
No, I don't.
Okay, how do you do them in the wash? Because I haven't done that.
I go to my washing machine. I put the quarters in.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. There's no quarters in. But I just go cold wash delicate, and I sprinkle a little, or I do the bloop, bloop on the detergent. Yeah. A little bit on top. Throw it in. That's it.
Just run them through. Do you take the insoles out or anything? Or
nah, fuck it. I need those insoles clean too.
Oh, okay. Good enough.
I love it. This is great.
Try that.
Yeah, like when I got on before, my big thing was I told Nick and Bjorn, I was like, yo, I'm not a sneakerhead. I was like, all that stuff, like people scrubbing their shit with a little toothbrush and everything. I was like, it's never been me. I thought about it, never really done it. So it's nice to have somebody on the show that's just like, nah, throw this shit in the washing machine.
Like, yeah, I used to scrub. I used to scrub with a toothbrush too, and and now it's just like, it's just not a good use of my time anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
Time is money on that one.
Yeah.
No, I've thought about putting, like, especially the Yeezys, those things just absorb dirt like nobody's business. And they are just a knit upper on foam. There's nothing in there that can't go in the wash. I'm going to try it. I'm going to
be brave.
I'm going to launder my Yeezys.
Yeah.
This is, I'm looking forward to the report back.
This is the monumental episode. Next episode, you got to talk about how it went.
And
you could start off and be like, yo, first of all, fuck Sammy Anzer.
He
ruined my Yeezys.
Yeah, if I fuck up my Yeezys, it's on you, bro.
You're going to get like the sweater effect where they come out looking like youth shoes and you're just like, shit.
Honestly, they're a little too big. So if they shrink by just like...
Throw them in the dryer for 10 minutes.
Half a size. Yeah, I might shrink them up a little. We'll see.
So Sammy, you said you're an Adidas guy. Is that a fair assessment?
No, I think still more for more. I have Nike because it's like closer to my heart. But I like what Adidas is doing and how they're changing the game, and I respect it.
Elaborate. Because we had, when like Alex Falcone was on a while ago, he was dropping designers' names, and he's like, oh, I like that Nike keeps it a little tighter when it comes to design direction. Adidas kind of like blows the lid off, says do whatever you want to do. Is there anything from the last couple of years that you were just like, oh yeah, when Adidas did this, it was super, super sick? Like, oh yeah, maybe you're a secret Jeremy Scott fanboy. Like,
no, so I think it's just like the direction. I like to notice the way design and like I guess like fashion evolves. You know what I mean? So like if you could pull up, there's another pair of Adidas that I have that are probably my favorite sneaker, and it's the Adidas Prime Knit 2.0 tubular.
me see if I can track these down real quick. Oh yeah, because we were talking about this the other night at the show. You like the what were they, the 750s, the Yeezys?
Yeah.
And this is kind of like a
Oh,
non-Yeezy.
that
It
does
is,
have a
but
750 vibe.
It does. So
Those are sick.
can you put them in gray?
I was gonna say, let me see if I can get some of these other colors up, cause
No, not those. Those are interesting though. I've never seen that.
Those have a lot of Yeezy vibes.
yeah,
For
this
sure.
this site is fucking with me right now. I apologize while I try to drive over here, but
Yeah.
so
I'll tell you.
because you said you are a high top.
Yeah,
fan,
so
right?
I only do really high tops because I wear a size 14,
Mhm.
and just as the way it just came to be, like I decided to lean. I have a huge foot, and when I was younger, I used to try to like hide that and like
Yeah, and like wear kind of slim.
yeah, and wear
smaller-looking
low
shoes.
tops. And now my whole thing is that aside from this, for the most part, like I'll show you guys other stuff I have. I usually wear high top, brightly colored sneakers because my feet
Okay.
are huge, and I'm like I lean into it. But
Mhm.
as it relates to the other Adidas, like I just saw the direction that like Adidas started doing these sock uppers. Those are the ones I have.
Mhm.
Adidas started doing these like sock uppers, and everyone started copying them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nike started copying them. Just anyone you could think. Even like I feel like I don't even know if K-Swiss is still alive or whatever it was. I just saw like some weird stuff. I'm like, yo, everyone's doing the sock upper,
Mhm.
and well, the Prestos did it maybe first, like back in the day.
Oh yeah, way back in the day, the
But
Presto definitely had the same like the plastic cage around a
But
sock upper.
I feel like
these.
Adidas does it the best, and they're the one who's like pushing the new direction, and that's what I respect.
It feels like they've stuck with it because I know Nike, at least on like the skate side of things, there was like a shoe that came out like the Costin, I can't remember which one, but it had that whole sock liner thing. They tried to push it with the Nijas for a little bit, and everyone was just like, "Boo, this shit sucks. I'm not trying to spend $140 on a pair of skate shoes." And then they were like, "Okay, cool, we're getting rid of it. Sorry, whoops, our bad." But Adidas like stuck with it. Did kind of like, I don't want to say like perfect it, but they did. I think for Adidas, I think when they do it, it looks good, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I could run those. But other companies, you're just kind of like, oh, you did the little scuba man thing there. I see how this goes.
So Sammy, you were saying that like when you grew up in Queens, like that was big. That was when you were really in the sneaker
Yeah.
culture. Like, what were the shoes? What were the shoes to have when you were growing up?
So there's so many, I feel like J's and stuff that was like just the most prevalent thing. But I think the thing that like changed was probably when I was like, I don't know, 19, 20, something like that. Maybe a little bit younger, 17, 18. Like the hype beast movement started. And that was when I remember even the phrase like everyone started saying, which was like, not matching is the new matching. And we just started getting like the loudest, weirdest stuff, and we started wearing SBs, which was kind of like, it was a cultural weird like faux pas at the time where it's like, yo, I don't fuck with that skateboard shit. And then it was like, yo, this skateboard shit is hot. Like I remember, yo, I used to have, can you type in the Milli Vanilli SBs? And like stuff like this, like these like Nike going full on in on the SBs back in the day.
Like the first time that dunks were hot.
Yeah. And that's where
like
like
what,
all
these
the
shiny
new
shits?
innovation and stuff like that was happening. Yeah, these were like based off Milli Vanilli, right? Which is like, it's a concept sneaker, which I don't know when that started, but like when I discovered this, it was based off Milli Vanilli. It was the colors and the shoelaces were made to be like, they were like, felt like they're like dreads kind of.
Oh, okay.
Oh, funny.
So it was like, I feel like everyone does this now, right? Like Jurassic Park has a sneaker, Nerf has a sneaker collaboration with Reebok.
Ben and Jerry's did a sneaker collaboration last year.
But at this point in time, like this was like a new concept for me, and a lot of it I felt like Nike was leading the way, and it was happening and stuff like this.
Yeah. Okay. So that was kind of when you were really into sneakers, was like when that happened.
Yeah.
Getting those.
And of course, Jays. I mean, you know, people lining up outside the mall, getting into fist fights, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Getting stabbed over sneakers.
I'm newer to sneakers, so I have never lined up to get sneakers. I've sat in my house and gotten mad at an app, but like, yeah,
it's
I've
such a
never
different
lined up.
experience.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I feel like an old timer was saying that. We used to line up for sneakers back in my day.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about another thing that's interesting too for me, and you just kind of nailed it, is like how the like New York specifically, because and you had a bit that I'm not going to burn for you right now, but like you were kind of alluding to this in your guest spot the other night where there's so much going on, and it can switch. So like it goes from, oh yeah, that's skateboarding shit. Like no, we don't fuck with that. And then all of a sudden, people kind of like collectively are like, oh, you know what? Supreme's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? SBs are cool. You know what? Skateboarding is cool. And it was like, it's like a whiplash where it went from skaters, especially in New York, being like, you get water dumped on you. Like everyone's just like, boo, get the fuck out of here. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh no, these are like the stuntmen, and like all the gear's really cool too. So I remember growing up, you know, you had like the whole like late 80s, early 90s, like the polo thing. And you're like, oh man, why is everyone running polo? Like that's some like waspy, like Connecticut shit. And it's like, yeah, exactly. And we took that shit and we made it look fly. Yeah. And I feel like that's how the skate thing was. And it's so funny. Like your timing is perfect, because correct me if I'm wrong, that would place you kind of like right around like early aughts. Is that right? When you started like, when you started fucking with SB, when some of the skate stuff started getting cool again, it was in that like kind of 2000 and I'll say like 3 to like 2008 period. And skateboarding, in my personal opinion, that was like the dark ages, because it was like everything got super tight. Everyone leaned like really heavy into like the punk shit.
They look like Fall Out Boy. And
exactly.
Like that.
And prior to that was like the loose fit, which is now making another like comeback. But it was like, it seemed to me it was kind of like this natural progression with a lot of fashion stuff in New York, where when a lot of the skate shit started like tightening it up, getting more tapered and more fitted, a lot of those New York dudes that liked the looser fit started getting into some of the loose fit skate stuff, because no one else was really like fucking with it.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like it was like that. And then pretty quickly it went super tight. So I went from high school where I was wearing G-Unit styled clothing, right? With a pair of like huge ones and the double t-shirt, tall tee with one over the other, with the do-rag in the back pocket. And that was the look. And then it went, I'm buying jeans at Hot Topic. And when I was like in college, like in my later years, I'm buying jeans at Hot Topic. They're like this tight.
The wild skinnies,
and I'm wearing like a pair of colorful SBs. Like it was like whiplash, right?
Like overnight, just.
I mean, it kind of happened like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say because we went from like XXL diplomat shirts to like fucking. That was when like you'd start seeing dudes running like a Iron Maiden shirt or something like that, and you're like, damn, like you look way cooler than all the other guys wearing that shit right now. Because like because people were looking at it like they're like, oh, I'm gonna make an outfit out of this, not like I'm gonna wear this shirt because I fuck with heavy metal. It's like no, this shit is really cool. I'm gonna make it look good. I'm gonna pair it with the right shoes. I'm gonna pair it with the right accessories, and then like all the metalheads are mad because they're like, oh, you don't know anything about this music, blah, 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 this and that.
I do that shit to this day, because I think that's what the thing is that what you were saying is that I feel like fashion exists in like conversations, right? Where there's this conversation where it says polo is for white people and it costs this much and you wear it on your yacht, and then someone else goes, nah, I'm taking that shit, right? And like, like I was traveling, I was in California doing some shows, and I was with my uncle, and he had a Grateful Dead t-shirt. I've never listened to one song, but I saw the color profile of it with like that skull and like that red, white, and blue stuff. And I was like, and it was like a faded t-shirt. And I was kind of like, you know what? I could rock with this. And I threw it on, and I put like my Mets hat on backwards, and I was like doing that. And you know what's so funny is that like 60-year-old white women and men were coming up to me like, what's your favorite song? And so like, I was like, I don't know. I just saw this and I was like, I'm gonna rock with it.
I will say that's a newer thing too, real quick on the fashion stuff. I've noticed in the last 15 years, more so than like any other period in my life, getting compliments from like the polar opposite ends of people, where like I had this vest, big old like black and white Amy Winehouse thing on the back, right? And I was in the city and I had like the little cashier girl, Dwayne Reed, she's like, oh my God, I'll give you $500 for that right now. And then I have like old white women at Marshall's that are just like, oh, I love that. Wow. And like the stuff that you're talking about, like you have old timers that are just like, hell yeah, brother, that's all right. That's what I'm talking about. And then you have like some like 19-year-old kid who's just like, yo, you're too old for that. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I can't understand this shit. Like, where's the lines? Like, help me out here.
But that's what makes it so cool, I feel like, is like when you know that you're doing something you're making a conversation like with your outfit that someone outside of your realm understands, right? So like if I look at you, I'm like, oh, you know what? Like these are these sneakers and they dropped then, and you're wearing them with this color palette with this, and like someone else who like doesn't process in that way is just like, I like how colorful your sneakers are, young man, which is what a lot of women on the streets stop me and say, and I'm just like, thank you, that's very nice of you.
Wow, thank you so much.
Yeah, that is a fun thing with like loud sneakers, is that you do get kind of like, there's sneaker people that know what you're wearing, and then there's people like, those are fucking crazy. What are those?
So I'll tell you the ones that happen to me the most in, and I paid more for these than I should because of my sneaker size, is do you guys remember the fuchsia ambushes?
No.
Let me see if I pull them up. Oh, yeah, these are colorful.
Let's see these.
So when I wear
those.
those, that's the kind of like, I feel like compliments I get from like strangers on the street and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But people who know sneakers know, oh, those are the ambushes. Those are tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But like definitely shopping mall mom is like, where did you get those?
Like, wow, I love those. Those are just the best.
Just cool pink shoes.
So, well, let's talk about this because, we talked a little bit about like you had a pretty formative kind of like Nike experience that I think a lot of people kind of like in our age demographic kind of went through. What's your collection look like? Well, first off, like estimate, how many shoes do you think you got at the house?
That's a good question. So I think I have probably like 5 or 6 fashion sneakers. I used to have more. I used to collect. I used to be a sneakerhead. Sold them all, got rid of them all. And then now I feel like, and we were talking about this, like I've come back to it in a way that it kind of feels like home cooking. You know what I mean? Like I left Queens and I was like, yo, fuck wasting all that money on sneakers. And then I got older and I'm like, you know, it was fun back in the day, wasting money on sneakers. Maybe I'll do that just a little bit. And I feel like that's kind of where I'm at. So I probably have I feel like 6 pairs of sneakers where I just wear them like just for going out.
Just to kind of like stunt a little bit.
Yeah, just to stunt a little bit. They don't serve a function. Like, you know, I got a pair of like, you know, I don't know, boots, and I have dress shoes for work. And I have like, if I'm going to go downstairs to pick up like garbage. Whatever.
Yeah, you got like the quitters. Yeah. What's the last pair of shoes that you bought?
Ooh, I think it was those ambushes.
The ambushes?
Yeah, because those just dropped earlier this year, right?
Yeah, but I got them. I got fucked on StockX.
Oh,
got fucked. Yeah, but I decided, I was like, I was thinking about them enough for long enough that I decided to buy them, and I don't feel bad about it. And I think that's kind of like the guiding principle, where like I'll buy something where I feel like I have to have this, and I don't feel that often. Like where I'm just like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
But if it's something I'm like, yo, this is me. Like that sneaker, that's me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's like a good way to feel about it. Like seems like a better philosophy for buying sneakers than like, I need to get closer to that, because I definitely have been the guy that was like, those are cool, buy them. Yeah. Those are also cool, buy them. And
but
then
do you
I'm
make money off of them when you do that?
No, I wear all of them, and then I just have wasted many of my dollars.
Yeah, I was so mad. Did you guys see when the Virgil 2s, the off-white 2s came out?
Yeah,
I wish I got that. This is fucked up to say. I wish I got that draw, but like, I'd be sitting on so much money if I had those.
Like the OG colorway ones, the white and red.
Yeah,
they're worth a lot of money.
Him dying did wonders for his.
The price just went up.
Yeah.
I feel
I got a pair of the Dunks, like the 50 that he dropped. I got the lot 16, and they definitely jumped $100 that day. I did. I was the fucking dirtbag that checked. I was like, I got it.
You know what though? It's like, it's funny because we talk about it like it's like this embarrassing thing. Oh shit! Like, but at the end of the day, that is what I feel like. I'm gonna pull a number just out of my ass. Like, half of the people that are buying shoes, it's just a speculative market for them.
Oh,
and
it
like,
is.
And even with the people that like don't buy shoes, like for you, Nick, you don't buy them, and you're not like, damn, bro, I'm gonna put these on ice.
I'm
and
not
I'm gonna, like, triple my
sell
money.
any of my shoes. I just like knowing that I have something that went up in value.
But it
like,
still fucks with you.
Yeah.
Because like the price goes up, and you're like, when Bjorn talked about like he got a pair of shoes and he seen them at the outlet, and he's like, and I think he was more bummed that like that just means they're going to be more prevalent.
Right, like he paid
like a price
resale
thing.
for them.
Yeah.
Thinking he was going to have something special, and then it's at the fucking outlets.
But I mean,
for
that's
discount.
it's an economic principle of like art markets, right? Isn't that the same thing always? Like, you know, you could talk about albums and you could say the same thing. Oh, this guy died and, you know, his album was released under this. Now it's hard to get. You could talk about the same thing about a painting. And why should we feel bad about it?
Well, and it's one of these things, like, I think people just gotta, and this was for me, like, I was like such an old codger. I'm like, this whole like shoe reselling thing. I was like, it's fucked up because like I can't wear dunks anymore. Like I can't skate in dunks if I wanted to. And then I was just like, you know what? The world changes, baby, and I gotta change with it. And I can either like be salty about it, or I can find another shoe that I like as much as I like the dunk, or I can find like something that like maybe I never would have looked at if I could have kept buying dunks and kept like thrashing dunks. Like if they never got on the market like that, I would have never worn the Force 58s or like any of the other shoes that are like coming out now. So,
all right, Sammy. So you're a comic. You've been doing comedy for a few years. You're funny. You did our show the other night. Headline. It was fantastic.
Thanks again for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you get your special, what shoes are you wearing?
Damn, that's such a good question. I don't know what they'll be, but I definitely feel like my brand with style is something like those fuchsias. Like I also have the lemon lime Gatorades. Have you guys seen those?
Let me pull them up.
Like the Gatorade 6s?
No.
Different. Okay.
You talking about the ones?
That's them, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're a high visibility type of fella.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're doing the neon.
Yeah, so
Okay.
like this is like my boys back home in Queens, like also the reason that I got into comedy and also the reason that I'm into sneakers and fashion is like all we do is roast each other's outfit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, yo, big stupid smile and big monochromatic sneaker. and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly my brand.
You're like,
Yeah, there you go.
That's me.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's gonna be something like this.
Something really bright,
It's kind of
monochromatic.
it's kind of fun to think about that though, right? Like it's fun when your friends do, but it's also fun to yourself where it's like, yo, I like this is my favorite sneaker. But then also try to think about like what patterns or trends are emerging. And it's like for whatever reason, you know, things like, you know, having a big foot and like leaning into it and liking like high visibility and liking middle-aged white women going up to me and going, oh, those colorful sneakers. This is who I am. you know?
For sure. Okay. That's a good answer.
So follow up on that is if you saw somebody wearing a pair of shoes like this, either on a special or I'll even say like, let's see, maybe not like at some mic, but like
Fight
they're
them.
touring.
Yeah.
Is that going to kill that shoe for you? Like, are you like, oh, I'm not going to wear that shit on stage because so-and-so had it in their Netflix half hour or so-and-so?
I wonder. I don't think my style would change. Maybe that specific shoe, I might be like, wow. Because I always feel like that's what's cool about fashion is that you could pivot from it, right?
Yeah.
Where it's not just like, yo, I'm entrenched in this one idea. Like, I'll throw on the Grateful Dead shirt. I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
And you can always whoever wore that shoe, you could just be like, he wore the shoe, but his outfit was trash.
Yeah.
That's the part of it for me is like, I love when people are like, hell yeah, I'd wear that shit because I'm going to wear it way better than they ever would. Like, I'm going to like, oh yeah, you wore it with like, Bjorn was talking about this the other day. He's like, yeah, I got all these shoes, but like I dress, you know, regular. Like, I'm not
he
trying
doesn't
to put
dress
an outfit
bad.
together.
He just doesn't have like, he doesn't really
He doesn't put effort into it.
Into the rest
this. He's like,
of the outfit.
I'm just gonna put on like some jeans and like a
he
t-shirt.
wears shit that fits, but it's not like there's no significance to the rest of his outfit.
Yeah.
But I think that's cool too because that like, you know, again with that conversation piece, it's like you're saying something.
Yep.
Like whether it's like conscious for us to like verbalize it or like subconscious, you'd be like, yo, there's a guy who knows about sneakers and doesn't give a shit about the rest of it, right? And you could like see that and feel that when you know.
Yeah. So I want to know about this jacket. That's a cool puffy.
Yo, so
what's Toppo Designs?
Yo, so this is
you don't know about this shit now?
No, I don't.
I'm surprised you know about it.
I mean, I look into this shit. But go ahead, tell Nick and the audience.
So this is really cool, and this is kind of like what I'm talking about. Toppo is it's a local Colorado company.
Okay.
And they do very like Patagonia type shit,
Okay.
but like a little bit more fashionable. And the thing in Colorado is an awful place for fashion.
Yes.
And it's just like, this is what people do there. They go, I like being warm and I have disposable income, so I'm going to get a Patagonia vest. I'm going to get a Patagonia. I'm going to wear a button-up collar underneath. I'm going to wear Patagonia pants and these hiking sneakers in case I need to go cycling. It's awful. It's offensive. It's a little bit disrespectful to see, right?
I like Patagonia a lot, but like...
Here, I'll throw this up. You can...
But I get that you can't wear Patagonia hiking shoes and call yourself
so anyway, there's this like more regular brand called Toppo, and like I like a lot of the items that Patagonia or companies like this will do like individually, and they're like cool individual items where I'm just like, yo, I saw this jacket and it's not my style. This is very mountain, very Colorado style, like not what I grew up seeing. But I was like, yo, you know what? I could rock with this, and I like just took this jacket
cool
and I
puffy jacket. I'm not mad at it at all. Is that down?
Yo, and it's mad warm, yeah.
Well,
No,
the other
that's
thing
sweet.
too is like that shit that goes in so many different directions. Because yes, like that jacket, when I look at it, I think like, okay, I could see that at Copper, right? But at the same time, like my friend is moving to New York. She's like, gotta get the North Face.
Yeah,
and I was like,
that's
yep.
the uniform.
So like, and she got the one where it's like the colored shoulders, you know, and then the body's just black. It looks cool, but it's one of those staple outfits. I like this stuff because I'm a fan of, despite the fact that I got like Docs on right now, I like having the classics, but then finding an outlet that doesn't make you look like every other person waiting in line. So like, I love North Face. I think it's got like such a cool legacy, especially like the way that people ran it in New York and like the tri-state. But if I'm going to get a puffer, I'm probably not going to get a North Face because I don't want to have... Same reason why I stopped wearing Chucks, because I was like, bro, when I go to Broadway and there's German tourists that are like, oh yeah, we go to the Converse store. I'm like, I'm not trying to look like the German tourist.
Yes.
Like, I got to find something that looks similar but a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say too, fashion in Colorado's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, it's
probably like fashion in Montana. It's just fucking cold.
honestly for me, I like Montana better.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, because it's
What's
more
your-
like it's more workwear and like you know how I dress. You
Yeah,
don't know how I
actually,
dress.
your style is pretty much Montana.
But like Montana, I think if you can put together like there's guys and well, there's all sorts of people that like they wear Carhartt different.
They wear it authentically.
Yeah,
right?
they wear
Not as
Carhartt
a
because
fashion
later
thing.
that day they'll need to be wearing.
They'll
not
need to
buying the
paint
work-
something.
They're not getting
Yeah.
the work in progress shit. They're getting the chore coat, just not in like
because
neon
they have
pink or
chores
whatever.
to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like in Colorado, it's like, it's so much function over form that they're just like, oh, I got to be warm. Hey, this thing is great. And it's like, yeah, you got bad taste though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No,
Or they're
that's
like,
totally
oh, this
fair.
thing's cool, right? And I'm like, no, just because you spent mad money on it doesn't mean it looks
doesn't.
good. And like, or like you were alluded to before, I've always said like, if you feel good wearing it, it's going to look good, right? Like if you walk out the door and you're like, hell yeah, like this is it for today. Like I'm looking good. You're going to wear it authentically. You're going to have like that kind of cachet. I'm not going to say the swag word, but like it doesn't look like an outfit.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are like, oh, I know. I'm going to look at the newest GQ. I'm going to buy every single thing that some celebrity stylist bought for him very intentionally, and I'm going to try to pull off the same look. It's like when Justin Timberlake was wearing them goofy little hats, and then a bunch of white guys were like, oh, I'm going to get me a goofy little hat. No. You cannot wear it like he can. Like, fuck out of
Yeah.
here.
That's and it's the same thing about bringing jokes to the stage, right? Like you
Oh,
could tell
God,
when
yeah.
someone says something on stage, and you're like, you're not really about that.
Yeah, you can tell when somebody like made up
Yeah.
some part of their story or whatever.
I like seeing that when it doesn't work for them, but
Yeah.
they stick with it. So like, I'm not going to put them on blast, but there's somebody at guest spot very recently who got up on stage and so they do 5 minutes of guest spot. Within the first minutes, lost the crowd. Is that a fair assessment? You know what I'm talking about. Lost the crowd. And I was like, oh, is he going to pivot, do some other material? Nope. Just doubled down, kept digging that hole, and like it ended up coming back around a little bit, but
I was happy that he just stuck with it.
yeah.
Honestly, it was my show, and it was like, and I was already putting like one of the better comics in town up right after him.
Yep.
And it was fine. I was like, yeah, it's not gonna affect anything. And I like seeing somebody just be like, you know what, fuck it. I got 5 minutes. Let's see if I can get him back.
Yeah. So
That's half the point of like a show like ours, where you have room to fuck around, Like, I like if people take risks at our show and push, and then, like, you know, my favorite comic is Bill Burr. So I can't be mad at anybody for trying to piss off the crowd and get back. That's my favorite comedy.
Yeah.
All my favorite comics do that shit. So I was on board for that one.
Yeah.
All right, so on this show, we end up talking about hip-hop a lot, and we end up talking about trucks a lot because, you know, I drive a truck and we're goofballs from Montana. Anyway, so we ask all our guests, like, so, you know, in hip-hop, they've recently been saying blow her back out a lot. It's like a sex thing. Anyway, and then in the truck community, there's something called a pavement princess, which is like a big, ridiculous, jacked up truck that never goes off a pavement.
Oh, okay.
So these shoes right here, are you gonna blow the back out of these, or are these a pavement princess?
It's like a yeah or nah. Yo, you know what? What are these called?
What do you mean?
These shoes?
Yeah, these Ultraboost.
Oh, my Ultraboost. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? No, I'm gonna work with them. So I'll. No, that's a tough question. I'm not gonna take them hiking if I get on a hike.
So you may not be fully blowing the back out of them.
No.
But they're also your daily drivers, so they're not a pavement princess either.
It's funny to see where people's values are like that. Actually, can I tell you guys this example really quick?
Yeah.
I brought one of my boys from Queens to Colorado for the first time, and he came. I was like, "Yo, you know what? Like, we'll go out in nature and like hike a mountain and stuff like that, right?" And he's wearing an all pink Aime Leon Dore sweatsuit.
Hell yeah.
Right? So a sweatsuit. And he's wearing Air Max 270s.
Okay.
There's like really nice pair. He beat them up though. They're full on basketball
Super
sneakers,
cooked. Yeah.
no grip.
Okay.
He hikes to the top of the mountain with me, and everyone's giving him all these looks like, "Wow, nice outfit." Right? He hikes to the top.
Yeah.
At the top of the mountain, he takes off his Air Max 270s, opens his book bag, and puts on his New Balances so he could take a picture at the top like this.
Shut the fuck up. I love it. I'll give him one of these.
And I'm like, yo, this is the most Queens thing you can do ever.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That's hilarious. A pink Aime Leon Dore.
Yeah.
So he looked a little bit like a current day Camron.
Yes.
Okay.
Yo, Camron was the huge influence where we grew up.
Yeah.
That type of stuff.
Yeah, so the pink is definitely Camron inspired. That's fantastic.
We do this segment we're going to get into in a minute. Get it, forget it. I'm going to show you a bunch of shoes, but thank you for reminding me because I'm going to ask you about those New York classics, all right? So, like, and this is funny because, like, Nick, don't say anything yet, Sammy. If I were to say Uptowns, do you know what Uptowns are?
Oh.
No, I don't think I do.
Wow.
What are Uptowns, Nick? Please educate my co-host here.
Air Force Ones.
Okay, are those
Air
the
Force
white on
Ones.
whites?
Why do they call them Uptowns?
I don't even know.
Because they wore them in Harlem.
Oh, shit.
That's it.
Yeah, I was going to say that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, where are you at on ones?
On Air Force Ones?
On Air Force Ones, sorry.
I don't like them.
You don't like any of them? Lows, mids, highs,
No.
none of them?
No, because they were so ubiquitous where I was growing up. It was like that thing that you were saying where
With
it's
the
like
Converse,
I'm not going to wear them. Like I'll wear a pair of like sneakers that like look like them or whatever, but I'm just not going into that
Did you
lane.
ever own a pair?
No.
Never.
I made that
Interesting.
statement. Even like before I could articulate that point of view, I just knew I wasn't going to do what everyone else around me was wearing.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing was like, you just didn't want it because like everybody else was fucking
Yeah.
with it. Is there anything you like about Forces?
Not really. I think the silhouette and body are kind of ugly.
I agree.
That's the
And
general
Bjorn
consensus.
agrees as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
I agree too. Like when I was a kid, they didn't make sense to me. I thought they looked like orthopedic shoes.
Yeah.
Big ass heel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like the sole on them is too fat, and then like the whole shoe, it's too tall and narrow.
I don't like
to
it.
me.
No.
Yeah, I'm also not a fan.
Then I mean, I have to ask, what's the other one that I'm going to ask?
What,
For New York footwear.
Oh, the ones.
Well, ones are a big one.
Ones, Timbs.
Yes, Tim's. You
Yeah.
ever have a pair of Tim's?
Yeah, I had mad pairs of
Mad
Timbs.
pairs.
I
What
fucked
are your
with Timbs.
go-tos though? Because like, are you just a classic like nubuck? Are you?
No. Yo, this is how bad my fashion sense when I was growing up. I would, and this is how New York it is. I would get the all black Timbs.
Yep.
And I would think those are my dress wear.
Oh, that was a
Like
classic.
That's
that was like
fantastic.
when I was like 15 years old. I'm like, yo, I gotta go to my aunt's shit. All right, bring out the nice black Timbs button-up shirt, right? With the huge Camron style like baggy jeans.
Yeah.
But with the black
But
Timbs
all black
was
Timbs. It's
that
classy.
was right. That was luxurious.
It cracks me up because it's like I have a pair of like leather, like not classic Timbs, but like leather Tim like mids. And for a minute, I was like, yeah, they'll be like a nicer pair of No, like you can't ever dress Timbs up like that. They started making like some fashion boots and they're kind of cool looking, but it's like if you're looking for those classic like 6-inch construction boot, like how do you feel about beef and broccolis?
Beef and broccolis, I don't think I know what that is.
The brown and green ones. Hold up, I'll pull them up real quick.
Let me see.
They're kind of a decisive one. Like I personally like, it's not for me. I'll say, but any other ones like did you ever get any other Timbs than like the 6-inch constructions?
This is so embarrassing. My boys I'm gonna tell my boys that I talked about this, and this is probably my worst fashion choice of all time.
Okay.
They still make fun of me for this one. So this, damn, I don't even want to talk about this, but I'm going to. Fuck it.
Do it.
So Funk Master Flex,
Okay.
a DJ on Hot 97 New York, came out with a collaboration.
Yes, he
with
did.
Tim's,
I know exactly what you're talking
and they're
about.
called, it was revolutionary at the time, which is what I thought. And I was probably 14 years old or some shit like that. And they're called the Merges. And it was a mix between a Timberland boot and a sneaker.
Okay.
And this was at the time where I was like, yo, guys, this shit is the future. Y'all don't know about this yet. Pull them up. These
You're
are
talking about these shits, right?
Yo, they are. I don't know if I actually had those version. No.
Oh,
It's,
no,
so
these are different.
type in Timberland the Merge.
Let me find it real quick.
And
Funk Master Flex.
yes, and my boys used to say that they look like lugs. Do you remember lugs? Lugs was an even worse.
They were like a driving shoe.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
So, but check out these merges, and I want to tell you guys. What did you say? Hit it or quit it?
Yeah, get it or forget it, or blow the back out, or is it a pavement princess?
Are you talking about?
Let's see if this is them.
These are like the Merge roll top. They got a couple different ones. I don't know if these are going to be the exact ones you're talking about, but bear with me.
Those
I found
are
the world's smallest picture.
No, those aren't them either. They're similar though. I will say they're similar. But
hold up. I think I got one.
There was a commercial for it with like a record spinning and like
these.
Yes, but I had the traditional Timberland color.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They
the brown.
No, I even feel like mine were a bit uglier than that. I'm not gonna lie. I'll just have to send them to you later, and that could be like the.
How about this? We got these ones.
That's it. Those are them.
Look at
We
those.
track them down on eBay. Currently going for $90.
Oh, it's a size 3. That's a
Oh
youth.
yeah, those are the kids
But-
ones,
you
but
get the
those
idea.
are them.
But we get the feel. Okay.
Oh my god, they're so ugly. Yo,
they're not the best.
Yo, when we would have like girls come over to my house, if like I was like
Yeah.
spitting game well, I was like it was going well, they would go into the room and pull them out and start doing them
And
like
just start
maracas or like
fucking playing.
and just look at what he
my
got.
God.
And I was
Oh,
just like,
shit.
they're like one of the biggest embarrassment points.
Well, so
worst
this is
fashion
funny
choice
because
ever.
like, so you are saying you hate these, and then let me show you real quick. Like, this is kind of like the contemporary beef and broccolis.
Oh,
So
no, those are. I seen those.
Yeah, people kind of like. It's funny. Like, they just did a repop of them with a couple other podcasters. Got a show on Showtime, and they're like. They're too much. They're like they drew all over them.
Do they really? Is that the street name for the beef and broccoli, or they came out with the intention?
No, that's what everyone called them.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I didn't even like. I don't know what these are called. I just know they're the beef and broccolis.
Those dope. I like them.
Yeah, I'm not. Those
I wouldn't
look like
wear
a
them.
hiking boot.
This is like you
to me.
gotta
Like,
wear
fully
this with
just look
like
like a hiking
some like yuppie shit. Like I think it's got to be that like outdoorsy look.
Yeah,
You
that
can't-
would go good with the Toppo designs.
Mhm.
But-
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into some of the other shits.
Hang on,
'cause-
I got one more question about New
Hit
York
me.
sneakers
Hit me.
because like I grew up listening to hip hop
Yeah.
in like a town full of cowboys, so I had no real connection to it.
Oh.
So like Wu-Tang is one of my favorites. Did anybody actually wear Clark's Wallabies?
Oh yes.
Except for people.
Oh
in
yeah,
Wu-Tang?
and Clark's Wallabies are on their way back. Like I
Okay.
just came out with them too.
Okay.
They did a collab with them. You could see it. This is pretty dope
Yeah.
too. But I never got into that. But yeah.
Okay. Was that more Staten Island and you were in Queens, or is it?
No, I don't
like
think
that,
it's
or-
like that. I think it was just maybe it was like a little bit older than me. People like a little bit older than me.
That stuff was like right before, because I'm 36 and I know some of the older heads talk about like having some of the Wallabies and all that stuff. But I feel like that was like a very early 90s thing. And like I was 7.
Yeah. That was not the Wallabies.
Well, I think I was born. Did 36 Chambers come out in 93 or 94?
Well,
I think that's
93.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you're right. I was born in 94. So I had like I came to that way after it was a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just remember knowing the Clark's Wallabies, which I always saw as just another thing. Like I like the desert boots. I wore those. I still have a pair of those. Those are great. But I remember seeing the Wallabies on the website and being like, that's a weird looking shoe. And I was like, oh, fucking the Wu-Tang guys wear that shit.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's another
I don't
testament,
think it's
though,
for me,
to,
but
like,
that's cool.
how creative people in New York will get with their footwear. And like, because we talked about this on an earlier show, all that Wu-Tang shit was because the Wallabies and Clarks were like a Jamaican thing. So you had a ton of folks up in the city that
from
like
Jamaica had that influence.
Yeah, because it was always like a dance hall
and
thing.
it was probably an influence for them from like England, because that's like a...
Oh, yeah.
Because Clark's is a British thing.
Yeah.
Like they're a British shoe. So I was kind of wondering, like, how did that get there?
It's just like layers and layers of cultural appropriation, basically. Yeah. Like straight up, someone saw something, they're like, oh, you know what? That's cool. And then they started fucking with it. And
that's what fashion is. I mean, that's what all, like, I feel like culture is. We're all taking from each other, adapting it, modernizing it, stuff like that.
Well, I think that's the thing that's cool about New York. Like, so you got that joke about the guy in Chinatown. And I immediately started thinking of some of the best outfits I've ever seen in the city are like waiting in line for the Chinatown bus to go to the Bethlehem Sands Casino. Like I remember back when like the whole 5-panel hat and like kind of like real kind of like not coach's jackets, but like Eisenhower jackets and all that shit was popping. I was at the casino with my mom and I was like, Mom, you see that 55-year-old Chinese guy over there? I was like,
he's rocking.
He is killing it right now. And I don't think that he knows it.
That's what's so fire.
But I was like, that is the wave right now. Like every single person my age is trying to dress like that guy. And he's just trying to play Baccarat and like do his own thing.
I've thought about this before because he was probably wearing like what his grandson had or whatever it was, like, or son like had laying around the house. And I think that in like 10, 20 years, you're going to see like old immigrant families, like, you know, Chinese dude or Jamaican stuff wearing Supreme stuff and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just walking around on their way to the bus like, oh, this was here, so I'll put on this Supreme hoodie.
But you see that with a lot of, like, I don't want to generalize too much, but like here in the city, we have like a pretty substantial Chinese immigrant community. And a lot of them got money. Like they came over with money and you see them just like wearing all the weird like North Jersey Guido shit. Like, I don't know, like just like everything's bedazzled. It's like sweatsuits and slides. And like for me, it trips me out because I'm just like, yeah, that's what like all the like Jersey wives wore when I was a kid. And now I'm just seeing like this whole different approach to it. Yeah. So,
you know, the other thing that's kind of in Portland, because Nike's headquartered here, Adidas US headquarters here, Under Armour's here. Like every shoe brand is headquartered here. But especially Nike and Adidas, you see like just random like 60-year-old dudes who are like probably a upper level management guy just wearing a pair of Yeezys with like Dockers.
Yeah.
Because because they're like an Adidas manager, so they're like, well, I'll get the expensive Adidas.
That's kind of cool.
You see just like fucking dads wearing like Adidas or like off-white Nikes. Like I was at a food cart and like some dude easily my dad's age, like mid-50s to mid-60s, somewhere in there. Just wearing like off-white. He had the off-white Prestos.
Are you
like
serious?
A shoe that resells for like $3,000.
Yeah.
And he was just ordering Thai food from a trailer. And I was just like, this fucking guy is
if
the
you know
shit.
what to look for, like you find shit, and you like there's sneakerheads back in the day used to talk about like coming to Portland and you go to Buffalo Exchange because you'd find all the SB samples. You'd find like all the people that like have access to those shoes and it's nothing to them. They're just like, yeah, I don't know. I need to clear out the closet because I got another 20 shoes coming next year. And you'd be able to get like heat at the like consignment shop. And the consignment shops weren't even up on it yet. So they're just like, yeah, I don't know. These are like Nike skateboard shoes, $40. And people are like,
sure,
bro, these are like the Save Me's or whatever. Like, All right, so should we do Get It or Forget It?
Yeah,
I know we're
let's
running
do
a
it.
little long right now.
That's all good.
So we're going to burn through a couple upcoming releases because this will be out kind of after the holidays. And one thing we've noticed is a lot of these are going to be a little funny because the supply chain's so fucked up. So the deal is get it, forget it. Doesn't mean you have to literally go out and buy it. But if you're like, yeah, like I would wear that, I'd be interested in it. Or if you're just like, nah, not for me. First question is, are you a basketball shoe, like beyond like ones and like Jordans?
No, not anymore. Like I don't like the current basketball shoe movement, but like back in the day, like the Barclays and stuff like that, I fuck with those.
All right. Well, the first one I got is from Adidas. It's from a basketball player that is not my favorite, and as a New York guy, you might hate his guts too, because everyone else in New York does. The Trae Young Christmas wrapping shoes. Where are y'all at with these? Get them or forget them?
Fucking throw them out. Throw them out.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. Forget those.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
Fight the person who wears those.
I gotta say,
I wouldn't go that far because I'll probably lose that fight unless they're a toddler. But definitely, that's a lot going on. This is too many colors and patterns, and that's a lot.
I'm definitely like a big no on, like my big no on this is like, what's the window of time when you can run this? 2 weeks, maybe. Like this last
like
2 weeks of December?
One holiday party to just annoy someone else who's there.
Yeah, I can't imagine like going to someone wearing them. You'd be like, yo, those are hot. How did you, like, no.
Like if I had a party that I didn't want to go to where I knew someone took Christmas too seriously,
that's what you would do.
I would be tempted to buy these and wear them. I have a Wu-Tang ugly Christmas sweater. I would pair that with this and just go in there looking like a douche.
Yo, that is like the ugly sweater version of a sneaker.
Yo, I was just gonna say this looks like the bum ass ads you see on like Facebook where you can get like a custom sweater that says whatever the fuck you want on it. Like, yeah, it's too like chintzy. It's too like
too much.
All right, forget it across the board. We'll get these merges out of there. All right, next one is gonna be a set of New Balances. These are the XC72s, and they are the Calabasas ones.
Ooh, those are fire. Oh, those are the Casablancas. Yeah. So there's a few colorways of these. I would absolutely get these.
Pardon me on the ads. Yeah, they're all white, pretty straightforward. The one thing that I saw on this, and I'm curious to hear what y'all think about, is like this toe.
I love it.
You see the wrap of the tread comes up on like the outside of the front toe. It's got the big N on it, which I think we've talked about in shows before. I really like. Nick, where are you at on these?
I don't hate them. I'd say get it on that too. I like them. I like that it's like an artistic. It's a very artistic. It's one of the more artistic.
It's like
New
a concept.
Balances.
Yeah.
Like New Balance has started getting into doing collabs and stuff in the last few years, and this is one of the more like high fashion-y takes on a New Balance I've seen yet, and I like it.
Yeah, I like those a lot.
Yeah. Cool. So we got get it across the board. I'm gonna say get it on this just because I think that like wrap on the toe gives it. If it didn't have that, I'd be like, it's a white shoe. Like looks fine. Not bad. But I do think that like kind of picks it up a little bit. We're gonna stick with the white shoes, and we talked about this, so I feel like I got a good idea where y'all are gonna land. But I am curious: are you more or less into a Forces High with no strap? That's the interesting thing on this one. They got rid of the strap. No Rasheed Wallace strap on these ones. And it's got like a recessed swoosh there. It's in a light smoke gray, so you don't get the classic clean white.
That's interesting, but it's trash.
But you're still
So it's interesting, but forget it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, I like all those details. I like that they got rid of the strap. I like the recessed swoosh. I would look like an idiot wearing that, and so it's definitely still a no for me. Like, it looks a lot like a Dunk High.
That's what I thought too.
And
yeah.
Dunk Highs, I have a pair, and they're enormous on me. They're just such a big, bulky shoe, and I don't feel like they look that good on me. And so this would be in the same vein.
All right.
And at the end of the day, it's also still the Force Soul.
Well, we are going to stay in the same vein, and this will be a very quick one.
Okay.
Better, worse, or about the same with some red accents on it. So this is the same shoe with a red sole, red swoosh, no color on the rest of the shoe, and it looks like it is kind of like a true white. It says it's the original 82 colorway.
I like it a little bit more. It looks like it has like a blazer feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
It
at the
does kind
top.
of have that. I would definitely, more people would notice how bad I look in them.
All right, so get it? Forget it.
Forget it.
Forget it? Still forget it. Okay,
forget it.
now we're going to stay with Nike, but we're going to move to a different department. We're looking at the ACG Moab in a limestone. Are y'all ACG people?
Yo.
Little techie?
Kind of interesting.
I definitely think that this is something that like is very heavy on the outfit, right? Like this is not something you can just throw on and have it be like real good. You got to kind of like work around it.
That could fit with some of those Colorado outfits you're talking about.
This is
This
true.
does look like
This is
something
a
someone in
Colorado
Colorado would like. If it was in the Nordstrom rack,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
like they'd be like, "Oh, look at these."
Yeah, if they could get them on sale and pair it with some Patagonia.
Yeah. I'm interested, but I'ma still say nah.
Forget it. Nick,
Forget
how
it.
about you?
Definitely forget it on that one for me.
I think the inside of this is just kind of whack looking. The outside looks way better. I think it like has a little more detail, and the gusset isn't orange. I think that gusset on the inside being orange like that looks kind of goofy.
It does.
I like that though. That's actually part of it that I like.
Well, I am not a high vis guy, so that's where we're gonna differ. But same deal as the Forces. Better, worse, or about the same? All black. Well, not all black, but
nah.
still no.
Yeah, that's
See,
worse to
I
me.
yeah, it's worse. I like them, and I was gonna say if there's like a more interesting colorway, I could see myself wearing them.
Uh-huh.
But nah,
They made
these
it
are too-
less interesting.
Yeah, they
here.
made it less interesting.
Yeah.
This is actually a thing. What's your thought on like most like real dark colorways like that?
I feel like all dark or all white is like you're not really doing much. It must be like a function thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many. You know, you can get any sneaker in all white or all black. Adidas, Nike,
Yeah.
New Balance.
We've kind of had that same conversation on here quite a few times. Bjorn and I would agree with you. They're like, especially the all black sneakers, even if they're awesome, nobody notices them.
Yeah,
Like you could have all black like off-whites.
yeah.
This might be a simple question.
Nobody's going to know.
Given the choice, if you had to have something like, let's say you just get a pair of Dunks, they're either all white or all black. Which ebony or ivory? What do you choose?
I feel like white.
Yeah, white.
You got to go white. Yeah, I mean, like, I think that's just like a closet thing. You got to have a pair of white shoes in the closet. So speaking of Dunks, I skipped over a bunch because like Dunks that are just like a regular color with like a swoosh doesn't really blow my skirt up. But these ones are going to be the winter solstice ones. What do we think about these?
Yo, those are fire.
For the listeners at home, it kind of looks like they came out with those, was they the Valentine's Day Dunks
Yeah,
not too long
like
ago?
the Strange Loves.
Yeah, and then these have like a little sun on like the rear heel. There's just like more accent, more detail added, and it's all like kind of like sunburst, like sunbeam type things. Let me see if I can get some more photos of.
Yeah, those
They
are
might have some, like-
tough. I like those. I like those a lot.
Yeah.
Those are also my style. As you
Yeah.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Those, they have like the pink and the bright.
Yeah, like I think like you see these and you wouldn't be like, oh, it's a pink shoe. But it's got enough that like it kind of sets you apart. You could match it with like if you do have some pink accessory thing, a hat or, you know, some sort of top, I think it could look really cool. I don't know what the significance of this is.
That's when the solstice hits.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is this wow? Because oh, that's the winter one. So I wonder if they are going to have another color in this style.
I bet you they're going to do a summer solstice.
Yeah, that'd be
Yup.
interesting.
Yep.
Very interesting. All right, I am going to stay in the dunk lane, and these are the golden rods. I feel like we might have talked about these before, Nick.
I think we might have, because the dunk highs that I have are basically the highs of those.
Yeah.
the
How do we feel
varsity Mays.
about these ones? Kind of similar to the Wu-Tangs that they did forever ago that were like not available
Yeah,
ever.
they made 30 pairs of the
Yeah.
Wu-Tang, which are exactly like my varsity Mays, except that there's 30
Yeah.
of them.
I feel like there's so many sneakers that take the black and even Dunks or Nikes that take the black and gold or black and yellow colorway, and it's not doing anything.
just nothing
for me.
special. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are like like if I saw somebody skating these, I'd be like, they're sick. If I seen them like trying to flex with these, I'd be like,
No.
they're dunks, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yellow and black is really hard to style too.
Yeah.
At least for me, it just kind of doesn't go with anything I own.
yellow is not a white people color. we've determined. Unless it's
wow, that's right.
That's kind of fair.
I think the only one that white people can kind of like consistently pull off is like a mustard, like a goldenrod, something like that. But like, if it's a bright yellow, white people stay clear. Like we do not have the complexion for it.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
a little tough to wear. So that's a forget it for me too.
All right, we're gonna go. This is so funny because I am not a big fan of this dude, and I'm so stoked that Big Baller Brand is dead on arrival, and he's on Puma. We've got LaMelo Ball's MB01 signature shoe.
Yeah, wait, are these the ones that they're like a significant amount of money?
I think that you're thinking the Big Baller Brand shit, where they were like $500, and that was the whole appeal because they look like trash. These probably retail for like less than $2. I can't see it from here, but now what I will say is, and this is part of the reason why I'm asking if you like basketball shoes, I feel like these are in your lane, but the silhouette and the construction might be out.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
The color, yes. Silhouette and construction, hell no.
Yeah. Nick?
Definitely forget it for me.
Oh, hold on. Now that it says rare on the bottom of the
Yeah, I think I'm still good. I don't
I'm
think
good
the
on that.
sole of that shoe is going to be the thing that sells it for me.
I will say, I think these black accents,
oh, nice.
They look good. The 101 is kind of corny. Not okay. You know what? We're driving this thing off a cliff.
Yeah,
whack
no,
shit.
these are whack.
All right. We got a couple left. Two left. And this last one is it's another basketball shoe. They're the Lillard 8s, the Dame 8s. And I'll see if I can get a better picture. There we go.
Yo, those look like if you're going to do some street pimping. That's what you wear.
If you ride like the Max in Portland a lot, these are like the designated shoe for it. I will say, like, Dame is like one of my favorite basketball players. I thought about picking up some Dames for some court sports, but they love doing this shit where like they put just words all over them. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming y'all are probably leaning towards forget it on these.
Oh, strong.
Definitely forget it for me.
I want to forget it right now.
Well, we will ask and you shall receive. All right, so now we're going to get into this is the last pair, and we got two colors here. And this is definitely going to be a departure from what we were just looking at. These are the New Balance 991 Stray Rats.
No. Fuck no.
These to me look like when the Fila's started coming back.
I like that one. I
Yeah.
wish it didn't have a word on the toe.
The Stray, well, it kind of fades in here.
Like, I like that colorway. If it didn't have that word on the toe, that colorway, I kind of fuck with it.
Yo, the black and purple one looks like a gym mom sneaker.
I was gonna say the black and purple one looked like the shoes that like all the girls that were in like in school suspension at my high school wore. Like this is like the like you talk with your neck a lot. Like yep.
What the fuck I did in here? Okay.
This is the wild shit because like I really do feel like it's wild to think that we were looking at those Calabasas ones. And that's from the same company that's making these.
Yeah, it is.
Like they are playing in such wide lanes at New Balance right now, and I'm curious to see if they're going to pick one and kind of stick with it. But
Very Skechers feel to those New Balances.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the box is cool.
Oh, those are made in England.
Box looks good, and this is like
She's in ISS, just like you said.
Yeah, right. See, that's some teacher insiders jargon you just used there.
Yeah, I had to think about that for just a second. I was like, oh, in school suspension. I know how to spell.
That's what we call it. You'd be like, yo, you got ISS today? Yo,
Yep.
I can't. Yeah.
All right, so that's going to do it for Get It, Forget It. But I got one question before we kind of wrap things up. You've got a couple years of teaching under your belt. What would you wear when you were teaching?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I would actually wear a blazer and a collar shirt and like khakis or chinos and dress shoes every day.
Dress shoes.
Oh, okay.
What specifically? Like, what's your go-to dress shoes?
I like Johnston and Murphy.
I have no idea what that means. Nick, you up on those?
I don't know
Johnston and Murphy?
Murphy.
See if I can
They're
put some up
pretty
real
good.
quick.
Okay.
They're an American company. I also have some Italian shoes that I would get on like versions of like Nordstrom and stuff like that, where
Okay.
you get like a nice Italian brand, but for like much more affordable.
Yeah, okay.
You thinking something like this?
No. Like type in Johnston and Murphy double monk strap.
Oh, okay. You like
Ooh,
that style. Let me
monster.
pull one
That's
up real
kind of a cool
quick. Oh.
Dress shoe.
Yeah, these are cool. I like these shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, like something like that. So that and like a blue blazer and a white collar shirt with a tie sometimes and dress pants. And I did that very intentionally. And I would even wear suits fairly often.
Okay.
And all my kids, they would go up to me and they'd be like, "Oh, Mister, why are you dressed like that? You got a job interview to go somewhere else?" Right? And I'd be like, "Nah, I'm dressed like this because I'm teaching you, and that's important."
Yeah.
And that was really, that was something that I related to my students about fashion. And even though they didn't know about double monk straps, and I learned on this, and I learned patterns and fabrics for blazers, they didn't know about that. They knew I was someone who knew how to dress.
Yep.
And they related to me on that. And then like seeing like someone like me, like my complexion, teaching them like from areas like them in a position of power, like being a good teacher is like transformative, because that's what happened for me when I was in school. The first time I cared about a teacher was he was a good teacher.
Yep.
He looked like me, he talked like me, and he was like wearing nice clothes and like taking care of himself. Like he didn't roll out of bed and he's like, "Oh, I guess I got to teach kids today." He was like, "No, I'm here on purpose."
Yeah, I'm going to show up with intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was my way of like, I didn't roll out of bed and came here. I came here early. I woke up early. I got dressed. I'm here. I'm a professional. You know what I mean? And I really think that that's something that that was like the foot in the door to get my students to be like, "Let me see what this guy has to say."
Yeah, you set the tone.
Yeah.
Yeah. What grade or like what level were you teaching? High school. Yeah. And no, I know. I mean, I fortunately now got other people to do it for me, but I used to do a bunch of like after school programs, things like that. And everything you're talking about is like really the secret to success when it comes to resonating with youth if you're in an authority position, because like you don't want to turn into that person that's just like, "Sit down, shut up." Why? Because I told you so. Yeah. Like that classic authoritarian model is dead. But I also think you don't need to pander. Like no one wants to have that youth pastor vibe when you pull up and you're like, "Oh, what's up, fam? Check out my ones." And they're just like, "Boo, get this guy the fuck out of here." And it's, I love talking about this shit because like so much of all my work is like youth serving for the most part. And it's always really, really interesting to see people's different perspectives to how they approach that work. What you're talking about, like just with showing up with intention, wearing something that's like a little nicer than maybe what you would normally wear. There's an organization here in Portland called Self-Enhancement Incorporated. They do a ton of after school stuff, but they have a policy. And it is, we have a dress code. And you wear suits, you wear dresses, you wear all of these things. And that was something that from their founding, they had a little bit of a different approach. Theirs was like a primarily black serving organization that like was staffed primarily by black people. And they were like, "Hey, you know what?" And this is an antiquated way of thinking a little bit, but they're like, "We need to change the tone. We need to be the possibility model so that when we walk into an environment where people are already expecting us to kind of like be less than, no, we're going to be greater than."
Yes.
And it is not just for ourselves when we're talking to people. It's also so that we can make those possibility models for our students.
Yes.
And they think like, "Oh, this is an adult that I can look up to. It's a role model, somebody that I really respect and have mutual respect with." So that's great, because I wasn't sure. I was like, I could see it going in a lot of different directions where you're like, "Oh, I did this. I would wear like, I'd wear like, nicer sneakers, or I'd do this when I could." But was there ever a time where you'd like kind of let your proverbial hair down?
Yeah. I would do that. Like, let's say there was like a day where we were like wearing jeans or like a casual Friday, like not a lot, but I would come in with the type of sneakers that would make kids go, "Yo, Mr. Anzer's wearing the these, right?
Yeah.
He's wearing the Gatorades or whatever, right?" And I'd be like, "Yo, look at me. Like I'm still from the streets." You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still from the streets, and you know me, but I choose to wear the suit and blazer and be a professional and show up on time every single day.
It's so funny. Like I'll say this real quick. I'll throw it to you, Nick. I met with a new school here in Portland, and I showed up kind of the same deal. I was like, "You know what? I'm going to present well." And they fully, like when they left, they told me later, like I'm good friends with all the coordinators over there, all the faculty, but they were like, "Yeah, we had that meeting with you." And we were like, "Yo, he's not going to last 2 weeks." Because they thought I was coming on something like, "All right, everybody," like Michelle Pfeiffer and like Dangerous Minds. And I was like, "No, I dressed up because we had a meeting and I wanted to show respect for the meeting." I was like, for skate class, I'm pulling up in Carhartts. Like, I'm going to wear the appropriate clothes for those moments,
Yes.
but I'm also not going to, like, you know, have students talk to me any different than they would anybody else. You got to understand that this is just like the set setting. I'm the skateboard coach, so I'm going to dress a little different than the English teacher or the principal. So, Nick, sorry, what were you going to say? I kind of cut you off there.
I don't think I was going to say it. What was I?
Well, in that case, I'll throw it over to you, Sammy. You got anything you want to get in before we start wrapping things up here?
No, we already got my social out there. I've loved my time in Portland. I'm taking a Uber at 4 a.m. to make it to the airport. I definitely got to come back here too, and next time.
Yeah.
Bring some shoes with you next time.
Yeah.
Not that, you know, these are great.
These are all right.
Now
to
you know,
keep it real.
Because
These
here's the
are
deal: if you
very
come back,
alright.
like, come up on the show. Like, there's a ton of stuff you can get on, but like, there's so many comedians in Portland too that are like sneaker people. That if you come with just some like bum shit, which I would never expect, they're not gonna they're not gonna talk about it. But like you've talked about this before. Certain comedians in Portland that, like, if you wear something that's like fine, they'll let you know. They're like, yeah you tried.
I'll wear some bum shit and make it hot.
Yeah,
That's what
there you
I
go.
do.
Sick,
No,
man.
that'd be dope. All right. Thank you so much for doing the pod. This was really fun. Terry, you want to take us out?
Yeah. This has been Size 10 here in the Size 10 studios. For those of you who might be trying this out for the first time, we do this every Wednesday with off-topic episodes dropping on Friday. That's on Apple, Spotify. We got video on YouTube, and then audio pretty much on every single outlet that you could find. Also, I guess check Spotify for video. Bjorn's been saying he might be able to get on there. You can check us out on social. We got Instagram and Twitter at Size 10 Podcast on both. And we'd love to hear from you. If you got ideas for the show, you want to give us some feedback, or got any questions you want us to address on air, hit us up on social. And that'll do it for us. We'll catch up with you on the next show. Take it easy, y'all.